start?
Yep.
Hello. Before starting, I'd like to ask you a question. Would you rather see a movie or read the script of this movie? I'll come back to this in a minute. So, my name is Federico Zambelli. I'm presenting you CellDynamics, which is a biotechnology startup developing a laboratory instrument to carry out time-lapse microscopy for living cells in suspension. What am I talking about? Let me explain. Cells can be divided into two categories: appearance cells and cells in suspension. Appearance cells are stationary, so they're quite easy to be observed. Cells in suspensions, like blood cells for example, need to float. So they are constantly moving and they become quite difficult to observe with a microscope. Unless of course you want to squeeze them under a cover slip, but that would kind of kill the purpose of analyzing living cells. So we have devised a solution. Instead of producing charts, data sheets, or graphs that are not visual, our device produces a video of the cells you want to study. While recording, it is also possible to add or remove molecules, such as drugs, to analyze the effects that those molecules have on the cells. We think that the best way to analyze a biological phenomenon is through direct observation. There are many different reasons for which it is convenient to join this market. First of all, the market itself is quite big, roughly 1.5 billion euros, and it has been growing in the past 4 or 5 years with a steady rate. We have calculated that we will be able to reach a total addressable market in Europe in 5 years for about 10 million euros in revenues. The other reasons are more environmental, and they are strictly related to the industry that we're talking about, the pharmaceutical sector. Companies in this sector need to be always efficient while facing, one, FDA rules that are becoming highly restrictive, two, a trend in reducing animal testing in favor of laboratory analysis on cells, and three, a highly competitive landscape. So therefore, companies that are able to innovate first and fast will have the leading edge in this market. To add in, we can use different approaches. As for now, we're quite young, so we're using a direct approach, calling tens of customers, potential customers every week to understand their unmet needs and find those early birds that are willing to try a new technology. In the future, when we will be ready to go outside of Italy, we will rely on a certified distributor to do the sales for us with his huge network of connections. Behind us, we have many realities, as you can see from our slide. There are quite a lot to discuss them all, so I'd like to mention only 3 of them. The first one is Spinner. They gave us a grant of 50,000 euros when we were just an idea, nothing done. And we probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, so thanks Spinner. The second one is Fanbiox. They are our first customer for which we are developing a customized set of services, and they're also helping us co-develop the first version of our device. And the third company is Trustech. They're providing us with some materials, and also in the future they will probably be our large-scale manufacturer. As well as our backers, we have a lot of competitors. There are quite a lot, so I didn't manage to put them in the slide, but I'd rather focus on the main difference that stands between us and them. Competitors' solutions require the cells to be moved from one device to another. This leads to some experimental problems as well as cellular stress that might mask the effects that you're willing to study. Our technology is able to analyze the cells in a natural environment, all in one single device, so the cells don't need to be moved. This device is soon to be patented. In fact, we will be issuing our patent in December or January, between those 2 months. And it requires a high level of knowledge because it's made of 3 different technologies that are microfluidics, electronics, optics. Our CEO has been studying them for the last 10 years, so it's going to be quite hard to copy it. As I said, we have a well-rounded team. Our CEO is Daniele Gazzola. He just arrived. Hi, Daniele. And he spent indeed 10 years in devising solutions in this market for the biomedical industry. Along with him, the other 2 technicians are Simone and Ilaria, respectively a biologist and a biotechnologist. They both deal with laboratory activities. I am a student of business and economics, and I work on customer development. So, since the beginning of this project, we've been working really hard to go to the market as fast as possible. We foresee to reach the market in about 2015, earning revenues for about 500,000 euros and reaching the break-even point before 2016. In the chart below, you can see basic data for our products. The main sources of revenues can be divided in 2 categories. The first category is the actual unit that can be further divided into 2 items. The basic version of the CellViewer, our instrument, and an upgraded version that we will release in 2016. The second category is the disposable parts. It includes various different items that need to be changed for every new experiment that you do. So, to carry out our objectives and reach our goals, we're going to need 10 million euros. Just kidding. Actually, we're just going to need 85,000 euros to participate in co-investment opportunities with local entities that will grant us more money in investments indeed, so as to reach 500,000 euros. That will be enough to cover almost the next 2 years. We're also looking for many contacts with biotechnology companies so as to better understand the needs of our potential customers. In this market, the ROI can be quite variable. It can span from 2-3x up to even 150x. That's quite huge. And we're planning for an exit in 2018, hoping for a company acquisition by one of those 3 big players. Zeiss microscopy would be a very good option because we share some common values with them, and in fact we're going to meet one of their managers in the next week. As a last request, we'd like to have an introduction to the CTO of Fluidine, Mark Unger. I don't know if the pronunciation is correct. And another introduction to one of the directors of Menarini Diagnostic, Fabrizio Landi. Concluding, I'd like to invite you to our stand. So if you are an investor, or you work for a biotechnology company, or you simply want free coffee, we have a coffee machine. So please join us and we will be glad to meet you. Have a nice day. Okay, wait a second. Since I have 1 more minute of